Welcome to Better Life TV. This is interviews with inspirational authors. My name is Kelly Sayers. I'm the author of Discovering Your Life's Purpose and also a spiritual life coach. And I'm here today with a special guest, Carla van Raay, who's the international best-selling author of Callgirl, which has sold over 500,000 copies all over the world in 7 countries. Isn't that right? Mm-hmm. Welcome, Carla.
Thank you. Today? It's wonderful to be here.
We really do want to hear your journey of self-discovery. I do interview people on their journey to really understand about some of their challenges in their life and what it is that, how do you connect to your higher self and what it is that brings you to, I guess, to be the person you are. And your journey is extraordinary. At the age of 18, you entered a convent to devote your life to God. And then you spent 34 years in the convent. I'm sure you're going to tell us the story today. But and also when you came out of the convent after you were aged, how old were you when you came out of the convent?
I spent 12 years in the convent.
12 years.
I was 34 when I changed my lifestyle.
Wow. And you came out and you entered the whole new convent.
I became a sex worker.
Yes.
And probably did more good as a prostitute than I did when I was in the convent.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you've obviously, since the book has now taken you another journey of self-discovery. And I hear you want to be making a movie, is that correct?
Yes, that'd be wonderful.
So tell us about the journey of this movie and how important it is that we do make this movie, and because of what's the difference it's going to help other people with their own journey of self-discovery when we're all learning about religion, sexuality, and our own journey of self-discovery. Can you give us a little bit of more interest?
Well, you've touched on the 2 topics of this book, which is sexuality and spirituality. Although spirituality and religion are very different, and I became a nun in a convent, in a religious convent to begin with. But God called me to go in at the age of 18, actually to hide away from my sexuality because I couldn't face the world, and called me to come out after 12 years there. So that took a lot of courage to come out, but by then I had seen through the limitations of religion and I wanted to find a larger truth. So I didn't know where to look really, and in the meantime I had to cope with a very confused sexuality. And I didn't realize really that this was due to sexual abuse that I had endured as a child. It was together with physical abuse that was so severe that I didn't cope with it at all, and I pushed it into the back of my memory as much as I could, but I was still left with the emotional baggage of that.
How did you discover though that you knew that you didn't realise, you're just saying that I realised later on that it was the sexual abuse, that's what was the journey really, of that self-discovery?
Yes, well, after becoming a sex worker, which I enjoyed immensely, then after denying my sex for 12 years and then exploring it to the hilt as a sex worker for longer than 12 years actually, there came a time when I wasn't enjoying it anymore. But I didn't know how to leave the profession at all. I didn't know what to do.
And then of course, what kind of work do you do? Did you think, well, what kind of job would I have after having those profound, really amazing work, in the convent? And as a sex worker, how do you go and get a job at a bank?
How do I get a job anywhere?
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even know what to do.
Voice inside me that said, you can't be like other people. You can't find a normal job. This is what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. You can't be any better than that. And so I heard this voice very clearly in my head, and then I knew that I had to go on a healing journey. And that's what I did. I spent all the money I ever earned on the healing processes that I went through. It was very haphazard because I had no idea about healing. And I didn't know what I was healing from actually, except from an inner self-sabotage. I knew that was happening. And it was only years later when somebody asked me a very pointed question that suddenly everything fell into place. I describe all that in my book. I describe the time in the convent and all the details of what convent life was like in the 50s and 60s. And I describe what it's like to be a call girl. Although I struck out on my own. I didn't work in a brothel. I didn't work on the streets. And I describe the healing journey. And it's a very colourful story that a lot of readers have identified with. So I've received thousands of emails over the years, and still do receive emails from people who've been deeply touched by the book, because people can identify with what's happened in their own life, even though their story is so different.
That is, because a lot of people don't discuss sexuality or things that happen in the convent or their belief in God. I think there's a lot of massive confusion, isn't there, around religion, sexuality, and it's all hush-hush. And so what is the importance of this movie to express to people? Is it to give them more of an awakening and a clear view about what it is a journey for everyone of self-discovery, and we're all trying to find God, sometimes through religion, sometimes through sexuality. Is that what you're trying to explain to people?
Well, the story, without preaching at all in the slightest, the story actually brings across a message of where religion needs to be doubted. Because religion is supposed to be all about love, okay? Go into a convent and experience convent life, and where is the love, you know? Where is the love?
Discipline, isn't it?
It's crazy. The vows of poverty and chastity and obedience, instead of vows of wealth, creating
and love,
helping others to create wealth and abundance. Yes, that would be a wonderful, valuable vow to make, wouldn't it? But anyway, I won't go into a tirade right now, because I've forgiven the nuns, I've forgiven the Catholic Church, I've forgiven myself for believing this for so long. And the book is not very judgmental. It's not judgmental at all about any of that, actually. And the topic of sexuality too is just the telling of my story brings into focus a lot of the sexual problems that exist in the world, and especially the silence around abuse and the treatment people have even when they break their silence, the treatment that people get, and the lack of freedom that exists for them, even though they've come out and told their story, because they don't know how to heal from that. And this gives very powerful messages to people.
How long ago was the book published? What date?
It was in 2004.
So then again, you've got another 10 years of your journey of self-discovery. And do you think, is that why the movie to you is so important now versus, did you want to make a movie 10 years ago? Is it really about now is the perfect time because you have more knowledge?
Now is the perfect time where everything that I've written in this book can be highlighted, and the emotional content of the book can be so much more impactful.
And I think people are calling for that now. I think everyone's looking for that connection to source, or that I know a lot of people who are very successful in their lives and they're unhappy. I think you've got the houses, the cars, the great job, the family, the marriage, and the money, and they're saying that there's something that's not fulfilling in their life. They just still haven't found that connection, or the who am I question, isn't it?
That's right.
And so what is the main message for the movie?
The main message for the movie is you can heal from anything, from any of your experiences. Your experiences are not who you are, and your beliefs and your feelings are not who you are. So you can heal from anything, and you can re-choose your life all over again.
And I think, different movies have, I guess it's always different than the book, isn't it? They make the movies because of, I guess, entertainment value. Like the Titanic was completely different than the real story.
Well, this has
they had
lots
to have
of
the love
entertainment
story.
value.
So it's like, you can imagine how you can, any great director can put this book into an amazing movie. I mean, I can see how you got the love story, haven't you? You've got the whole convent, the journey of the convent, the journey of you and your father, and then the journey of the sex worker, and then of course, would the movie be beyond that, or can we not tell?
It could go beyond that. It could go beyond that, because as a prostitute, you liberate your sexuality to a degree. Okay, but what you don't learn is intimacy, and the intimacy that belongs to a one-on-one relationship.
Yes.
And I experienced that only after leaving sex work. So that produced a book on its own called Desire. It's a sequel to this book. And that can be interwoven into this story as well. There's lots of entertainment value in this
drama, don't we? We need drama, we need entertainment, we need a love story. We need the shock value.
Well,
We need.
This is a nun who fell in love with another nun.
I love it. Now that's a love story and a half.
That was a love story. Yes, that's right. Yes.
That's great. And so what was the life lesson with you? Obviously, I think the trust, wouldn't it? Would you learn like how to trust yourself in this whole journey? Because
Yes.
this is where we lose, in sexual abuse, I think that's the one thing that gets taken from you, isn't it?
It does. It takes your
self-love, but self-trust.
It does. The self-love, the self-trust, the ability to trust your own inner knowing. And that's why people go for religion, because it's safe. They can get the knowing from outside of themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? And I went for a lot of insecurity in this book. This is a story of a lot of courage, actually, for going for insecurity, because you know the answer is not there, but where is the answer? And exploring through sexuality the whole of life to find the answers. Yeah. So you were saying, people have everything and they still don't have that connection to God, but there are a lot of people who do not have all that either, who are just battling with their sexuality, or battling with their religion.
Yeah.
And are looking for answers, and this doesn't push answers down anybody's throat, but this asks the right kind of questions.
But also, I think we look at your journey. You've lived it. I mean, a lot of people are wondering, and they have they assume what it would be like in a convent. When, like, I wouldn't have a clue because I've never been in one. And it's the same as being a sex worker, unless you've had the experience. And as long as you've got some sort of, you make sure you have the last say in the movie, it would be the raw truth. That's what you need. You need to have the truth of your journey, so then we can see through the eyes of Carla van Raay what it is like to explore the two worlds, and then look how she's come out as this incredible, inspirational, spiritual teacher to teach us all about, ourselves, isn't it, and our connection to Source.
It's a very raw story. It's pretty raw, and inspirational. And what was I going to say? Oh, the title God's Callgirl. The title God's Callgirl is really a play on words too, because I followed a call to go into a convent, and I followed a call to leave. I followed a call to become a sex worker. I didn't hesitate when I felt that calling inside me. I felt a calling to leave that as well, and I had such tremendous problem with leaving that profession, but I followed every opportunity there was for healing. Everything that came my way, I explored it without hesitation. So I was following God's call, if you like, all along the way till I found that release. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, really, they're the two. That's the whole world in conflict right now with religion and sexuality.
Yeah,
but if we can see your story on the big screen and go on the journey with you, I think we would have more understanding about that. And then as we follow your journey, then we have our own awakening, because it's what reflects in all of us, isn't it? The different archetypes that we have, and who we are. Because people are questioning themselves now. Who am I? What's my life purpose, and why am I here? How can I help others?
That's right. And I look forward to people discovering that while they're having a great time watching a story.
Yes, exactly. So that's incredible. That's very profound. And so where's the book going now? Are we going to other countries?
Well, it hasn't been published in the United States of America, so there's an opportunity for somebody. That's right. And nor has it been published in the Spanish-speaking territories.
Yes. What about New Zealand? Is it in New Zealand?
Yes, it's in New Zealand.
Right.
And in the UK, and in Netherlands, the country of my birth.
Beautiful.
But not in Spain.
Wow, Spain and
Brazil,
USA. So
and
come on,
where
USA,
all the Catholics live.
Keep going.
USA, that's right.
It's just such an incredible journey, but it's just you now as the teacher. I think that I'm more inspired by you and who the person that you've become, who you are, and the teachings, because you really do come from the heart and your higher self, because you've had that incredible awakening. So you have done the healing, haven't you? And you have
I'm
so
still
much
on a healing journey.
It's never ending. While you're
It's
on the
never
planet,
ending.
you're still healing.
It's never ending. That's right, exactly. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And but I love to travel, and I love to give interviews, and I love I'm available,
That's incredible. And also, are you doing one-on-one coaching?
Yes, I am, yes, with anyone who wants to heal their emotional confusion.
Beautiful, thank
Yeah.
you. And do you have a website that we can contact you if we want to?
Just my name.com.
CarlavanRaay.com.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, big hugs to you. Thank you so much. Great, great opportunity for you to get a copy of the book, God's Callgirl, and then look out for this incredible movie. I'm sure it'll be a huge success. Thanks
Thank you,
very
Kelly.
much, Carla. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.